This is the grill on my 484. You guys can see it's beat up really bad, but the worst part about it is this bottom where it's all rusted out. And see, there's a bolt supposed to go right there and one right here. So this supports the front of the hood also. So I've got to get it fixed. It needs to be banged out, straightened up and all that. And I'd like to do that first before I sandblast it. But I'm going to sandblast it first because today is a nice day. And it's the only chance I'm going to get to sandblast this thing. That's how I'm going to start. Sandblast it inside and out. And I'll show you what it looks like when we get done with that. So here it is, the end result. The end result of sandblasting is always beautiful. A beautiful thing. All right, guys, it's Monday morning, and it was Friday when I sandblasted this thing, so we're back at it. And as you can see, I have the hammer and dollies out, and that's what I'm going to do next is hammer out all the dents and try and straighten this thing up a little bit before we cut on it and put new metal into it. I've cut this piece of metal here, and it's going to go right down there. And I'm going to wrap it around here to fix all this. I'll show you how we'll fix this part later, the front. But I think what I'm going to do is use this bar right here. This is a solid metal round bar to try and roll over these. You know, I marked it to try and roll these over to make them fit in there good. Well, that's a great fit. I still got to trim it up a little bit. I'll do that real quick and we'll move on to the next step. I've spent quite a bit of time beating and banging on this piece to make it fit the best it can. And you want to do that before you cut any metal out of here. And I've even left as much as I could, see, for a guide for now until I get it shaped in there a little bit better. We're getting ready to use this crimping tool now. And I'll show you how that works. So these crimping tools are very inexpensive, like at Harbor Freight or whatever. And it just makes a nice lip there so that you can put your other metal up against it in that lip. So it's more even, more flat there. And this metal is thicker. I wanted it thicker on the bottom so it's not going to be, you know, perfectly even. I've got this piece tacked on now on both sides. Can't see too good on this side. Anyways, now's a good time to go around with a hammer and straighten it all up to make it fit right how I want it. You know, make it roll around here all like I like it before we make this top piece. So I have now fabricated this piece here, cut it out, and I'll lay it on there and tack it up. And I know I said I was just going to tack it, but I ended up just welding it on up solid. And pretty rough looking weld, but I should have used lower temperature, I guess. I'm sure some of you are going to comment about this being higher than this part right here. And it is, but we'll blend it all in real nice. It won't be that noticeable. The sides will be flat. This is the only spot where there'll be a rise here a little bit, but it won't be noticeable. I'll smooth it all out. All ground up, cleaned up. I use a flapper disc on it, and those little grinding wheels, you know, to get everything in order. I removed that old metal in the back side of it and cleaned all that up too. It's time to put this thing on the tractor, mount the hood, and see where I gotta drill the holes. Well, guys, I thought you would like a sneak preview of what she's gonna look like when I get it all together. Oh, something's sliding behind me. Anyways, I bolted it all together because that way I could get an accurate measurement on where to drill the holes on this piece that I'm fixing. How do you mix bondo? So the way I was always shown how to do it is there's a blob of bondo and you put an X in it with your hardener. Like so. I don't know if there's other ways of doing it. I have no idea. That's the way I do it right there. And then mix it up. You want to mix it real good. Up, and guys, it's real thin. It's not thick. You know, people have a bondo phobia, but you can use bondo. Just it needs to be thin. You know, just because it's spread out doesn't mean it's thick. It just means it's spread out. But here's where we're at. I wanted to show you, and I'll do a little explaining to you. And I still got to do this little corner. You know, it needs a little bit more work. So at this point, you would go around with a little glazing putty or something like that, which I don't have, so I'm not going to do. And it's almost ready for primer. The way I got it to this point was, you know, I bondoed it up when it was really rough. I used 36 grit, and you don't have to. 80's enough, but since I had it laying around, that's what I used. And, you know, you rough it in pretty good. Put another coat of bondo on. Then I used 80 grit, and, you know, got it really close, pretty good shape. Put another coat on, and it started to look really good. So then I go to 180 and smooth out the bondo with 180. Then I use 320, guys. So right now that's where we're at. It's sanded down to 320, and I'm going to put primer on it, and then we'll wet sand it with 400. It's not real cold out today, but it's too cold to paint. So I'm just heating this metal up on the stove a little bit. Just a little bit, and then I'll take it outside, spray it. So there you go, it's all painted up. And, you know, came out pretty good, guys. Not bad. Could have been better. Could have been worse. So I guess we can call this baked enamel. So if you'll notice, this fuel tank's been painted, and it's because I repaired it, I think 2 years ago. It was rusted out on the sides, and I welded it all up and painted it. It's not very noticeable, but this engine has also been spray painted, and that's because I rebuilt it several years ago. I've been repairing individual parts as I've needed to on this old tractor and just spray painting them. And in the end, I'm going to go back and paint the whole tractor. That's why I've been working on it, getting the leaks fixed, getting all the rust out of it, and this and that. Spray paint's good enough for now. Later, I'll go back, sand everything down, and paint the whole tractor all at once. I hope to do that this summer, maybe. If I do, you'll be sure and see a video on that. Guys, I'm going to try and get a video together of some old tractors I've had in the past, things I've done to them, you know, pictures of this one when I got it, stuff like that. That video will be coming up very soon, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, all that great stuff that helps my channel grow. I'd appreciate it. And we'll see you next time, guys.